was an unfortunate downgrade from the last two. X-Men Apocalypse was released in 2016, directed by Bryan Singer, starring James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, Jennifer Lawrence, and Oscar Isaac. And yeah, like I said, this was a very unfortunate downgrade. First of all, I know this is a day late. I've been had a very hectic week, and yeah, I was actually really excited for this movie back in 2016. I thought this looked epic, and honestly, I was let down then. I'm still let down now. I have tried with this movie multiple times. I am friends with many people who think that this movie is great and underrated. I have tried to see what they saw. I don't see it. So let's go ahead and start this review off with the good, and admittedly there's still some really good stuff in this movie. First of all, James McAvoy as Professor Xavier is still really great. This is his weakest performance as Xavier to date, but I still think that he does the best he can with what he's given with the script here. And Nicholas Hoult comes back as Hank McCoy. I thought he was great as well. Again, probably his weakest performance as the character to date in this review series, but he still did a really good job. I loved his chemistry with everybody he interacts with. Nicholas Hoult, like I said, very talented character actor, and he's really good here. And then you have Evan Peters returning as Quicksilver, and he absolutely steals the show once again, like he did in Days of Future Past. He gets another really cool slow-mo super speed action sequence, much longer than the one in Days of Future Past, and honestly a bit more high octane, a lot more fun in my opinion, where he saves all the students from the X Mansion as it's blowing up. Really fun sequence. I love that sequence. Obviously you have Michael Fassbender as well, returning as Magneto, and he's fantastic here. He's easily the best performance in this movie. He is consistently the best performance of all the movies that are set in the past in this franchise. Michael Fassbender just absolutely nails it here. The emotion that he puts into his performance, so great. Love him in this movie. Then you got a couple newcomers I want to talk about. First of all, you got Tye Sheridan as young Cyclops in this movie, and I thought he was great. I am of the minority that really liked James Marsden as Cyclops in the original trilogy, and I thought that Tye Sheridan was just as great here. I really enjoyed his performance. It's a shame that they never really went anywhere with this character, honestly. And then you have Sophie Turner as a younger Jean Grey. I thought she was great as well. I really loved her chemistry with Tye Sheridan. I thought they played off each other very well. And the final newcomer I want to talk about is Kodi Smit-McPhee as Nightcrawler. And I loved Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler in X2. I really loved Kodi Smit-McPhee as Nightcrawler here. I really loved his Nightcrawler, in fact. Again, another character. It's just a shame they never really went anywhere with this character after this movie, but I thought that he stole the show when he was on screen. He really embodied the character of Nightcrawler. Really would have loved to see more of him, but it was fun while it lasted. And then you have the villain in this movie, Apocalypse, played by Oscar Isaac, and I'll get to the handling of the character later, but I liked Oscar Isaac's performance. Oscar Isaac is a very, very immensely talented actor, and I really loved him here. Not one of his greatest performances of all time, but he was hamming it up as the ultimate X-Men villain, and I just really enjoyed it for the most part. And aside from the characters, you get some really good action here. Specifically, the third act. I loved the world-ending destruction we got. Felt a lot like a Michael Bay movie. But I'm a fan of Michael Bay. Sue me. So I enjoyed it. Like I've already mentioned, the whole X-Mansion blowing up sequence where Quicksilver saves the day. Fantastic sequence. And this is the second X-Men movie to not feature Wolverine in a starring role, but Hugh Jackman does show up here, and his sequence where he breaks out of the Weapon X facility and just rampages through it, highlight of the movie. Best scene in the movie, in my opinion. I loved it. Hugh Jackman, even with no dialogue in the movie, still stole the show when he was there. That's just the power of Hugh Jackman, I guess. But regardless, the soundtrack here is pretty good. I really loved the 80s setting. They probably could have done a little more with it, but there was just enough to keep me interested. And that's about all for the good. On to the bad. And there's just a lot of stuff I didn't like here as well. Like I said, this is a very disappointing and frustrating movie for me. First of all, I did not care about any of Apocalypse's horsemen except for Magneto. I didn't care about Psylocke. Psylocke? Yeah, Psylocke, played by Olivia Munn. Didn't care about her. I didn't care about Archangel, played by, I don't remember the actor's name, but he ended up playing Roger in the Bohemian Rhapsody biopic. I could not have cared less about Archangel in this movie. And Storm as well was really underutilized, in my opinion. But, yeah, I didn't care about any of those three. Magneto was the only one of the Horsemen that I actually cared about. Also, this is where I kind of just reached my I don't care anymore point with Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique. I didn't hate her here. But this is the point in the franchise where I'm like, okay, why are we still trying to do Mystique? I thought that her arc ended very well in Days of Future Past, and now they're just dragging it out because Jennifer Lawrence has star power. And apparently Jennifer Lawrence didn't really want to do this movie. And she really didn't want to do Dark Phoenix, but regardless, we'll get to that movie when we get there. Then there's the handling of Apocalypse. And Apocalypse is the Thanos of the X-Men. He's the dark side of the X-Men. He is the ultimate villain for the X-Men. Along with Mr. Sinister, but I'd probably put Apocalypse above Mr. Sinister. He's supposed to be the main event, the world-ending mutant. And he doesn't really do much. He kind of just stands around and gives speeches and occasionally does something cool. And you get an A-list actor like Oscar Isaac playing a top-tier X-Men villain like Apocalypse. I'm gonna expect something epic, and they just really didn't deliver, in my opinion. Like I said, Oscar Isaac does a great job in the role, and they just didn't really do much with the character. Not Oscar Isaac's fault. It's the writing, and I just didn't really enjoy that. On top of that, there's some really bad pacing in this movie. This is 2.5 hours long, and I feel like it could have been cut down by about 20 minutes. There's a big B-plot with the whole Weapon X side plot. It was pretty much just in there to give us a Wolverine cameo. And like I said, I liked the Wolverine cameo, but that whole sequence could have been cut and still had a Wolverine cameo in here somewhere. But yeah, that could have been cut out. Also, the fact that they teased the comic accurate suits at the end of this movie just to not deliver in a future movie. Not this movie's fault, but I still have to mention that here. That really frustrates me. That's about all for the bad. On to the final thoughts. And I don't hate this movie. I'm frustrated with it because, like I said, I have a couple friends who love this movie and defend it to the end of time. I'm just not in that same boat. What could have been the Infinity War for the X-Men franchise before Infinity War was even a thing was just a mixed bag and a disappointment for me. X-Men Apocalypse was a very disappointing film. It continues to be disappointing, so I'm only going to give it a 5 out of 10. So that was my thoughts on X-Men Apocalypse. Have you seen this movie? Let me know down in the comments what you thought about it if you have seen it. As always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.